Uh-oh.
I was the one telling the people out here, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, if they lost the first 2 football games of the season, would still be in the hunt to make a college football playoff. I talked to Joe Lisi quite a bit during the week, and you know what Joe Lisi's been telling me? Notre Dame just might be the best football team in the country right now, and I believe him. I do. Rolling over teams. The offense is out there right now, and I don't think anybody can stop them.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Is it going to be Gabriel over the next 4 or 5 weeks? Or is it going to be...
I know.
Is it going to, but that's where they're at right now. Because that mentality, changes. We go from rebuild at 1-3 to all of a sudden at 2-3, the bell goes off, and he in his head, probably drinking a beer at night, goes, hey, I can get this team to the playoffs.
Listen,
but that's the way these coaches think.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
So let's just start right there. Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, done for 2025. Think of the managers that invested the draft capital. Man, oh man, what to do?
Yeah, this is really tough. I had people message me, man, I had Neighbors and Hill, and I lost them both in the same week. That's tough. It's a tough day at the office for sure, and that's why you watch us here on FST, Fantasy Sports Today. We're trying to help you.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
At this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Time to rise and grind on a glorious Thursday morning right here on the Sports Grid Network. It's the early line. I'm Donnie Wrightside along with Joe Ranieri. And you know the drill. The next 2 hours, we got you covered. We'll keep you updated. We'll take a look at what happened last night and certainly move forward to today, which includes more elimination games in Major League Baseball. The NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Giants, and also a preview of some more action this weekend in college football and also the NFL. Love this time of the year. The weather is going to start to get cooler, and the Yankees are going fishing, which we'll get to in just a few moments here. The Phillies stave off elimination. The Cubs and the Brewers series, we'll see where that one ends up. And also, Joe, 2 hours of fun. That's the most important thing.
Yes, fun, Donnie. F-U-N. Tons of fun here today, heading into what should be, another interesting round of elimination games in Major League Baseball.
Yankees in championship modes here. Don't you want to hear it? The Yankees, 27-time champions here. It's Caffeinated Joe, the state of the New York Yankees.
Oh, so today, Donnie, we are going to talk about the state of the New York Yankees. See, because last night, not 5 minutes after they get bounced from the playoffs by the Toronto Blue Jays, you open up social media, and what is all over the place, Donnie? It is fire Boone, fire Cashman, burn the whole damn thing to the ground. And I get the anger. Believe me, I do as a lifelong Yankee fan. But let me give everyone a little dose of reality this morning, okay? Because the theme here is be very careful what you wish for. Let's look at the facts here. You have an organization that has had one general manager in 28 years. They haven't had a single losing season since 1992. They have made the playoffs 8 of the last 9 years, including the World Series last year. And in a world where teams like, the New York Mets prove that spending $1 billion, you know what that guarantees you? Not a damn thing. The Yankees consistently win regular season games. That's the devil you know, right? But here's the problem, and here's the part that drives every Yankee fan insane, Donnie. When the lights get the brightest, and then they play a team with a pulse, they completely fold. Here's the numbers. Under Aaron Boone, the Yankees are a ridiculous 15-4 in the playoffs against the American League Central, who, by the way, has a quarter. Every team in the American League Central has about a quarter of the payroll of the New York Yankees. But against everybody else, the real contenders, they are 10-23. That's not a slump, Donnie. That's a pattern. That's who you are. So is that on the manager, or is that on the players who just got out homered 9-3 in a series that they were supposed to out home run everybody like they did all regular season long? Did anybody step in their way and say, hey, you know what? Maybe a little personal responsibility here, players? No. But the answer is, it's not necessarily just on a manager or the GM. It's on everybody, Donnie. It's a culture of coming up short when it matters the most. So you can fire Boone, but my question is, what if the next guy can't even get you to the playoffs? The question for Yankees fans this morning isn't just, can this group get us over the hump? It's, are you willing to risk falling off the mountain entirely just so you can get a new tour guide? Because the devil you know is consistent wins and playoff heartbreak. The devil you don't? Well, Donnie, that could be so much worse. Be very careful what you wish for, New York Yankee fans.
Those Yankees. It's a shame. They ran into a star-studded lineup here. Oh, how about that? Look at that. People suck at this point right now. But if you take a look at the Yankees, right, they'll usually out-superstar you. It's one thing when, hey, we lost to the Phillies. They got stars. We lost to the Dodgers. They got superstars. You lost to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who is a superstar. But you know what else you lost to? Lucas, Barger, Kiner Falefa, Kirk, Varsho, Straw, Clement, Jimenez. Oh, wait, they have the best starting pitching staff in baseball and the best bullpen. No, they don't at this point. They didn't even have Bichette, one of the best young players in Major League Baseball. I think that's what makes it sting even more for Yankees fans to sit back and say, you didn't lose to a juggernaut. You just got hammered 3-1 in a series by basically Vladdy and the boys. Tough pill to swallow. They'll be looking for answers in the offseason, but Joe says, we got to fire everybody there. Always love the firing of the manager in baseball, as if he's just not running the game off a computer anyway and just punching buttons at this point. Hey, you didn't run that ball out. Manager's fault. Oh, bench the guy. That'll fix the issue. We'll see what happens with the New York Yankees, but picking back off last night, Joe, 5-2 loss. Toronto was the better team. I don't know how you should say that. Cam Schindler, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. You lost this game. Where were the bats? Where were the bats, Joe Ranieri?
Nowhere to be found, Donnie. Absolutely nowhere to be found. They had the opportunity to get one at home here, and unfortunately, their rookie starting pitcher gave them an opportunity to play from in front in that game, but the bullpen of Toronto proved to be too much. And once again, the fact is, if this was any team inside the American League Central, the Yankees would have swept it. The Yankees can't beat anybody in the East or the West, where, oh yeah, the payrolls are a little bit more substantial than the American League Central.
I think the song went from Alicia Keys and Jay-Z. Concrete jungle where no dreams are made of. What's up with the New York sports scene right now? Get some titles together, people. See what you can do. Let's keep it moving. The Arizona Cardinals here, banged up at the quarterback position. Welcome to the party. Foot injury for Kyler Murray kept him out of practice. Turf game this weekend on the road. Let's see if he gives it a go, Joe.
Shocker here. Talk about an organization falling apart at the seams here. I'm wondering if maybe Jonathan Gannon punched Kyler Murray somewhere along the line, too, and maybe that's what happened here. Maybe he's going to write another check. This team is toasted. Lost both their starting running backs. Now they've lost their quarterback. They can't stop a nosebleed. They can't beat the Tennessee Titans. But, they'll rally around and head to the hottest team in the National Football League, and I'm sure win by 20, Donnie. Welcome to the NFL.
Quarterback Brock Purdy might be on an IR stint here. Why? Mac Jones just might be better than Brock Purdy, Joe. Come on now.
Listen, results, right? It's a results-oriented league here. We're going to see exactly what happens. That schedule, I think you and I could be a quarterback and win games.
By the way, you don't trade for Joe Flacco and say, give him another week to prepare. They basically got this guy over, handed him a playbook, say, learn these 3 plays. Good luck on Sunday. You're in there, kid.
And from what I understand, he opened up the playbook and it said, throw it to Higgins and Chase. And that was it. He was like, all right, I'm good to go. There you go. Easy playbook.
And it said, hint, hint, run for your life. So we'll see if that turns out for Joe Flacco. Deep bombs ready to come in and provide. How about the NCAA saying, look, we can't keep track of all these people betting on professional sports. Let them bet on professional sports. Hey, kids, hey, coaches, just don't bet on your own sport. It's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the way it should be. Be an adult about it. Also makes it very easy just to see who's betting on college games as opposed to college football, baseball, NHL, everything else.
Hey, Bill Belichick looking for the golden parachute after just a few games in Carolina. That seems like it's going well in Carolina, Joe.
Swimmingly, I think is the word being used, honey. Swimmingly in North Carolina. You get and reap what you sow here, North Carolina Board of Trustees.
Jack Eichel signs an extension. Does hockey start yet? When does it actually start? Usually for me around March, April when the playoffs begin. But Jack Eichel's a rich man now. How about that? Jackpot!
Yep, Jack Eichel has mostly always been a rich man. This is not his first go-around, but a $108 million contract extension with the Golden Knights makes him even richer, Donnie.
As Red October just started in Philadelphia, Christopher Sanchez on the mound. We might do 2 hours of Philadelphia baseball. We're back! At least after this break, anyway.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Well, Shadur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there is some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. That's you're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness. That's
he's mentally broken too. It's to the point where Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in,
right? It's more so.
Right.
Yeah, it's guys, he's done.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Time for a little spread lines here. It's what we like to do each and every day. We take the headlines and the spreads and tell you why you need to be looking at a certain game. Joe, we're going to start on Saturday, noon kickoff. UCLA versus Michigan State. Look at that UCLA team. Nico Iamaleava. He was an unbelievable quarterback, particularly on the ground. Over 100 yards, multiple touchdowns, upset over Penn State. Now he's coming east to take on Michigan State. This line, Joe, Look ahead, -4.5. Now, sitting at 8.5 across the board and a 55.5. Iamali Alvin, the boys. The spread line in this game is what?
Yeah, boy, I tell you, that move from transferring out of Tennessee to UCLA looks like it's paying huge dividends right now, doesn't it, Donnie? But hey, welcome to NIL, baby. Go get your money, kid. That's exactly what he did. But having said that, I mean, he hasn't played all that badly overall, and he comes off obviously one of the most efficient outings of the season when he beat Penn State 42-37, and he legit beat them single-handedly. And now you got to ask yourself, all right, the public sees UCLA win that game, and they scored the most points against, well, pretty much anybody in quite a few years. So what are we getting a letdown here, Donnie? Is that what we think? Well, the market believes absolutely so, as they got to travel to East Lansing to take on Michigan State. By the way, 0-7 against the number under head coach Jonathan Smith as a home favorite. That is what Michigan State is. They are not the same old defensive juggernaut that they used to be. They're giving up 30 points per game. I would spend a little more time concentrating on that total, Donnie, given the fact that both these defenses are anemic, to say the least. And if UCLA can give us the same kind of effort offensively, we're flying over that total here tonight. But Michigan State is not the Michigan State of old.
Friday night football, Fresno State, Colorado State, two state schools here going to tee it up. How about a 6.5-point line at the opening number? Still sitting at most outlets at 6.5 right now in a total. That is dropping, Joe. The look-ahead line for me was 51.5. Now we're seeing 47.5 to 48.5, depending where he's shopping at. Fresno State, Colorado State, the spread line for you, Joe, is what?
Well, ever since they lost that week 0 game at Kansas, right? But all of a sudden, that's not looking too bad because they have looked a lot better than we thought, certainly after we watched that game. They've won 5 straight games, including 2 in the Mountain West. And it should be noted, by the way, Fresno State, 23-13, almost 64% against the spread, coming off a straight-up win, rather. That's going back to 2021. Going to Fort Collins to face this Colorado State Rams team. Yeah, this not very good Colorado State Rams team here. I'm kind of shocked, by the way, that we have not seen more money coming in here and get this thing over a key number. I think it will. I think before kickoff tonight, keep an eye, Donnie, I believe we're going to get a lot more Fresno State money in there. So if you like them, sooner rather than later here.
How about this? Sooner than later, the Iowa offense will actually start to move the football. 3 things you can do in Iowa. Watch paint dry, watch the corn stalks grow, or get bored out of your mind watching Iowa play football. 35.5 at Wisconsin is the total. The favorite, however, is for Iowa, between 3 to 3.5, depending on where you're shopping at this point. Boring. The spread line. Actually, no, Joe, I'll answer the spread line for you. It's boring. What's your spread line?
Well, it's boring watching Wisconsin. I mean, my goodness, backup quarterback now. And it's so crazy because last week against Michigan, right, they open up with a 75-yard TD drive, right, with their backup QB. And then they went on to get just 177 yards the rest of the game. The problem is Iowa rates out just as good as Michigan does defensively. And boy, oh boy, call me crazy. What was the spread in that Michigan game? It was forever here now. I'd be shocked here, especially with Iowa, who's done an amazing job over the seasons, right? They are a covering machine in games like this. They will handle their business. Luke Fickell, this is the swan song here. A bad loss here could be all she wrote for him in Wisconsin, but there is no way I'd be looking to back Wisconsin in this spot. It would be all Iowa for me.
Let's flip it over to the NFL revenge game here. Rico Dowdle style, starting running back here for the Carolina Panthers. Looks like he's going to get another start since Chuba Hubbard's down, and why not? Man went for over 2 bills last week. Dak Prescott coming to town to take on Carolina as a 3-point favorite and a total that's now up to 49.5, Joe. The spread line is what for Dallas and Carolina?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, right? Because we just watched these two teams come away with wins. And boy, oh boy, when this line opened up, 3.5-point road favorite for the Cowboys, man, I saw over 75% of the spread bets here laying the points with the Cowboys. The problem is, Donnie, if you get such support like that with the tickets, why is this number falling? And why are we only at a field goal? That's what we call a reverse line movement in favor of Carolina, and I think it will continue to go there. I do not believe this is a big pros versus Joe setup here. Do not believe that the Cowboys are going to get a ton of love before kickoff. The public loves them. The Sharps love Carolina. You decide which way you fall in that category.
I've been waiting all day for Sunday night, and I can't wait for Sunday night NFL action. That's going to be the Lions. That's going to be the Chiefs. That's going to be the Chiefs as a favorite, despite nobody betting on them, apparently, ticket count-wise. And the over, people can't get enough of, Joe. This should be the easiest spread line of the week. What is it?
Yeah, well, again, we saw what? We saw this line open up Kansas City as a one-point home favorite.
Yep.
And again, 80% of the spread bet tickets throughout the week. Back in Detroit, wrong team favored, Well, problem is we've seen nothing but the line move towards Kansas City in this spot. So Detroit is shaping up to be what we like to call that trendy dog this week here. The fact that the line continues to move towards the Chiefs tells you everything you need to know. The public hammering the Lions, the pros, yeah, they're hammering the Chiefs. Once again, you got a decision to make. Who do you believe? Is the public right, or are the pros on to something here?
By the way, it looks so easy with that total, but when you get into the numbers, they're very good coverage defenses here. They're two good teams. This is going to be like a playoff game in Arrowhead on Sunday Night Football. And also, the Chiefs getting that money. Most people, they just lost to the Jaguars. You always like to say, get inside those numbers, man. They move the football at will. Can they do it again against Detroit? We'll find out. Great segment here. More NFL news and notes on deck right here for the early line.
If you're O'Connell, you have a serious decision to make. Like, what is, again, he's been hurt now in back-to-back years, McCarthy.
Yeah.
You don't know what you have.
100%.
This is a similar situation to what the Niners did with Trey Lance. Like, if the guy can't stay on the field, and again, limited, you have to do what's best for the organization.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on this?
Point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety.
But are you on
Joe.
this? This is your best bet? Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
not
could
paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I can tell you right now, Jamar Chase is getting moved on a lot of teams. And I understand why. I mean, you don't have Joe Burrow coming back this year. It's just not happening. And then Jake Browning has been less than impressive. There's no doubt about that. So Jamar Chase is still an extraordinary talent, and I think buying him low is interesting. Why? Because if you do look, the schedule does get a little bit easier. The defense is still bad. Jake Browning has been productive.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Basically a year's worth of starts at this point, because remember, Drake May was not the starter out of the gate during his rookie year last year. That was Jacoby Brissett. There have been some, encouraging performances and, I think some flashes of what could be upper echelon talent within the scope of the league. But going into this year, we're going to find out.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
NFL news and notes, and if you weren't paying attention, movers and shakers out here. Joe Flacco staying in the same state, just going to a different team here. How about this? He started quarterback there with the Cleveland Browns. Now you're going to start for the Cincinnati Bengals. The one thing that's going to be interesting to watch is how much air time he's going to get. What I mean is those wide receivers are going to be open, but how much time is he going to get to throw from the pocket to deliver the football to those said wide receivers? But also, I'm telling you right now, quarterbacks, like, same way. If anybody's ever played football before and went through a regime change, whether it was your high school, your Pee-wee football league, college football league, you never want to learn a new playbook. It's, man, but we got all off season, April, May, June, July, and August to get ready for it. You know what's tough to do? Step into a room and go, hey, man, you got 3 days to get ready to learn this playbook and all the intricacies that it has. Good luck and get out there. That's basically what Jake Browning was like. Man, was I that bad, coach, that you're going to bring a guy in that's going to have one of those sleeves on his arm just to read the plays and have wide receivers tell him what route to run at this point? Joe Flacco, he's your starter on Sunday.
It's so, Donnie, you can count on one hand the amount of quarterbacks on the planet that would be capable of showing up on Tuesday to a new team 5 weeks into the season and then starting the game on Sunday. And that's because Flacco has pretty much seen everything. He has literally been a part of nearly every offensive and defensive concept in the league forever here. I mean, he's played over 200 games with 6 teams, right? Plus, don't forget, he already prepared for the Green Bay Packers 2 weeks ago when the Browns beat him, and he was the quarterback. So the word is that it wasn't so much that Browning's accuracy and decision-making have fallen off a cliff. It's not that Chase and Higgins haven't been open. It's that he's throwing behind them. He's throwing to the wrong spots. So the only thing they're hoping is that Flacco will get the ball out of your hands and put it in the spot where the guys can catch the ball. That's the only thing he is about here, is making sure that he throws it to the spot where Chase and Higgins can actually make the play and run with the ball. If he does that, they should be okay and be able to weather the storm for the time being.
They're probably going to throw a lot. And you just said, okay, 40-year quarterback, we still understand he has a very live arm. He's got 2 wide receivers. The one thing he can do is deliver that deep out route, that deep ball. He can throw it. They're going to be in shotgun a lot. So it almost looks like to me like the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe, like, we really don't run the football well as is. We're not going to run the football anymore because you really can't run primarily out of the shotgun just with a running back standing to the right side. Okay, here's a handoff with a bad offensive line. I'm interested to see that game plan. But the one thing we do know, if we look at the game itself, which you're going to take on the Packers, Flacco comes over. That line didn't move, Joe. It's 14 and 14 and a half still. It's just about every outlet you're looking at. So it wasn't as if like you traded for the best quarterback in the NFL and that line goes down 5 points. They're basically going like, oddsmakers like, yeah, we'll take it as we see it as well. Not an indictment of Joe Flacco, but it's just like how much of an improvement can that be, and also how good the expectations will be for the Green Bay Packers in this game.
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny, too, if Flacco beats the Packers not once, but twice with 2 different teams in 4 weeks, Donnie? That would be absolutely hilarious. But again, it certainly covers a lot of ground when you've had you got a quarterback now, and this almost never happens, but you got a quarterback who already knows the tendencies, lived it, played it, studied it, went through the prep. Now he walks in and he gets to do it with Donnie, I don't know, what is this, a 300% better weapon group that he's got here than he had with the Browns. So the problem is the offensive line is awful. It's worse than what he had with the Browns, and that's saying something. If I'm Green Bay, it also flips, right? Because now Green Bay had a chance to see Joe Flacco and his tendencies and what's going on. I think it's going to be a fascinating chess match, quite honestly, to see how many are they going to ask him to throw the ball, to your point, Donnie, 40 times? I can't wait to see what they decide to do here.
Oh, Micah Parsons going to be getting after it here. We'll see how that one plays out. How about this? Jonathan Gannon said Kyler Murray won't practice. This was yesterday, and he didn't practice. This is a foot injury. Now, you equate these different ways, right? Foot injury for a guard. You know, he's tough. We'll be able to gut it out, stay in the trenches here. For a quarterback that's built on speed, mobility, and delivering from the pocket, now playing on turf this weekend, something to keep an eye on. I don't know where the Cardinals turn to, but if Kyler Murray is at 100%, his game is being able to run around like a scat back. He won't be able to do that Sunday.
Yeah, I did not understand. He left that field in the game against Tennessee after they hiked the ball into his face, and I could not for the life of me figure out why he was heading back to the locker room. And then we turned out that it was a foot problem, but he didn't take 2 steps. So I did not understand it, but Gannon had said if he's healthy enough to play, he'll play. It sounds like it's a game time decision for sure.
By the way, I always like to take a look at those quarterbacks, too, that the fumbles in the backfield, there's big offensive linemen around. Like, I need to make it look like I'm going for this, but I really don't want to get in there. Congratulations, Kyler. You're on the road this week against those Colts. More action coming up next right here on the early line.
If you're O'Connell, you have a serious decision to make. Like, what is, again, he's been hurt now in back-to-back years, McCarthy.
Yeah.
You don't know what you have.
100%.
This is a similar situation to what the Niners did with Trey Lance. Like, if the guy can't stay on the field, and again, limited, you have to do what's best for the organization.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
Are
missed
you
the extra
on this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
But are
safety.
you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
bet? Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not
could
paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I can tell you right now, Jamar Chase is getting moved on a lot of teams. And I understand why. I mean, you don't have Joe Burrow coming back this year. It's just not happening. And then Jake Browning has been less than impressive. There's no doubt about that. So Jamar Chase is still an extraordinary talent, and I think buying him low is interesting. Why? Because if you do look, the schedule does get a little bit easier. The defense is still bad. Jake Browning has been productive.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Basically a year's worth of starts at this point, because remember, Drake May was not the starter out of the gate during his rookie year last year. That was Jacoby Brissett. There have been some, encouraging performances and, I think some flashes of what could be upper echelon talent within the scope of the league. But going into this year, we're going to find out.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Philadelphia sports got kicked in the teeth over the weekend, Joe. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, not a lot of fun, but I can see it right now. And I love to always use the Undertaker meme where he rises from the grave, where somebody pops open that casket. Feels like right now, the Phillies got a win last night. The Eagles are on deck tonight. The Phillies once again will play a 6 o'clock game, then an 8 o'clock game. Philadelphia takes center stage, but if we set the game up tonight in the Meadowlands, it's a Thursday night road game. Not too bad, though, because you just jump on a train, hour ride, you're up there, and away you go. Jalen Hurts going to take on Jackson Dart. The line in this game, 7s and 7.5, depending on where you're shopping at here. The total, open up, Joe, 41.5. It's down to 40.5, and we'll start here. If you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, didn't like the performance last week from the Denver Broncos game, but get angry at the referees. You just got to play better and close that game out, which they should have done. They didn't do that. But understand this. The New York Giants, they have a good defensive line. That's it. Their coach stinks. Their offensive coordinator stinks. Their defensive coordinator stinks. Their linebackers stink. Their secondary stinks. Their offensive line stinks. Their quarterback stinks. They're inexperienced in the running back position, and their wide receivers stink. There you go, Joe. I just broke it down for you. How about that?
I got 8 stinks in that. Is that correct? It was an 8, Donnie? I counted 8.
Ramp it up.
8
The
total
fans stink
stinks.
too. How about that?
Yes. Yeah. In the 9. We were up to 9 giant stinks here across the board. But you know what? Philadelphia stinks in the second half of games, Donnie. They better figure this thing out
Watch that
offensively.
Rams game. Come on.
Donnie, the Eagles are the only team in the NFL that has managed to be outgained offensively in every game that they have played. They have got to figure out some consistency. Now, I don't know. Do you trust Barkley to get off in here, or do you think with the Giants secondary being the most suspect part of that defense, are they just going to air it out? Is Hurts going to be throwing the ball all over the place here to try and put away the Giants early and often in this one?
Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what the Giants are going to do. Like, you want to be optimistic either way. And I'm usually a home team or no team guy on Thursday Night Football. But here's the issue I'm running into, Joe. That total is 40.5. That's not because the Philadelphia Eagles offense. Even though the Eagles offense has had its struggles, they played some good defenses. But frankly, the Giants have a decent defense. It's not all the way terrible because I said they have a really good defensive line if you can win in the trenches. And the Eagles are banged up on the offensive line. Landon Dickerson's probably not going to go tonight. They've been struggling guard, center, guard. They have 2 tackles here, but you should be able to get pressure on Hurts, which other teams have done, particularly when you look last week at the Denver Broncos game. But understand this, Joe. The point of view for me is the Eagles have a very good defense. The Giants have where are you going for offense on the Giants tonight? Wan'Dale Robinson, I'll catch 6 passes, but only get 23 yards out of those 6 passes. Cam Scadaboo, who's not looking to juke anybody, but run into everybody at this point. Yeah, Tracy might come back for a couple carries off banged up injuries. But when you take a look at guys like Jackson Dart, I'm excited to watch him play as a rookie to see how he progresses. But let's not get it twisted here. 37 quarterbacks are rated as starters on PFF. When you take a look at that, he's 35th. So you have no wide receivers, no offensive line, an average tight end, an average backfield, and a rookie quarterback against Vic Fangio on a short work week to get ready. I just don't see where the offense comes in. So I do think the Eagles win this game, but my focus isn't really like the Eagles are just a better team. It's where, are the Giants going to score 21 plus points in this game and win this? I just don't see it happening, Joe.
Yeah, well, you look at all the numbers, right? I mean, the Giants are one of the worst teams in converting third downs, right? 32% is what they have converted on third down. That is only better than Minnesota and Tennessee, and that's not saying much here. Eagles defense has to do their thing here tonight, right? The Eagles defense just has to get Hurts onto the field as many times as possible. But again, you're talking about an Eagles team that has just been outgained in every game this season. Dable's going to want to do these long, sustained drives, dink and dunk kind of thing. It's going to be imperative that Philadelphia defensively gets off the field and the reps come where we can get guys like Saquon going and you can get A.J. Brown the ball and you can take shots. But it doesn't do you any good, Donnie, if it's only a 1-score game after the first half. I think Philadelphia needs to ensure that it doesn't make a difference what happens in the second half, that they put this Giants team away early in this game.
How about this? They had a meeting of the minds again this week in Philadelphia to clear the air. It was Saquon Barkley, it was Jalen Hurts, and it was A.J. Brown. I always like to buy into those narratives. Now, the one thing that we do know is, Saquon last year against the Giants really ran roughshod. Like that game number 1, you saw Sirianni on the bench saying, hey, man, you want to go out there and break your personal record? No, I'm good, coach. I'm not expecting that type of performance, but also understand this. Players, coaches, everybody knows Saquon's going back home to play on the Giants. And yes, he already did that last year. It's still a big deal. When they're on the 3-yard line instead of the tush push, you know what they want to do? Hey, Saquon, man, get in the end zone against your former team, who now, as you see all the, rumors and innuendos coming back on that whatever Saquon documentary coming out where he was like, man, I wanted to stay at the Giants at a discount, and they just kept disrespecting me at every turn. Interesting that came out this week. And also this, Brian Dable, we had the video yesterday as we were talking about going over it, was like, hey, man, you know what? He's open all the time. I like to buy into those narratives. 4.5, receiving or receptions is the prop bet for A.J. Brown. He'll probably get 5. But here's the worry about that for me is you need a running man, as I always like to say. Like, can he get 5 receptions and the Eagles win 28-3? Yeah, he can certainly do that, and I do expect him to do that. But also I want to say this, like, hey, Joe, it's fourth quarter. The Eagles still got to move the football and put up points here. There's no worse situation when you're trying to cover prop bets where it's like, wait, it's a 3-touchdown lead with 8 minutes to go. They're not going to run the football, and the Giants know the other team's running the football, so the clock is just going to turn at this point. How are you playing tonight's angles, Joe, with the Philadelphia Eagles saying, you know what, Saquon in? Is Jalen Hurts going to get his yards? A.J. Brown needs to wake up? How do you do it?
Well, as far as Hurts goes, 23 of 38, over 60%, 280 yards, and 2 touchdowns last week against Denver, right? He has now thrown multiple touchdowns in each of the past 3 weeks here. The problem with him and the Eagles is he can't get anybody beyond 10 yards. He was 3 of 12 on throws over 10 yards last week. He's only 13 of 37 on the deep ball. If you want to know why they're not racking up the yards and every game seems to be like, hold on for dear life, It's because there is no downfield passing game. Only Cam Ward and Bryce Young are worse than Jalen Hurts at completing balls downfield over 10 yards. I think they're going to correct that tonight. I think against that Giants secondary, they are going to take multiple shots with A.J. Young. I think with Smith, they are going to do everything in their power to try and become explosive again, because as soon as they do that, Donnie, guess what happens to Barkley? Things will open up for Barkley once they can stretch the field. They just haven't been able to do that.
No, they haven't been. And also, he might get those extra carries in the second half, but sometimes, coming into the week a little bit banged up. He had a full practice yesterday, so no expectations that he will be, but it's still a short work week. You get the half a bye week off after you get this one. You want to have the victory. So I'm interested to see the yardage from a wide receiver perspective. I like Devontae, certainly. I like A.J. Brown, but also Saquon Barkley, anytime touchdown, minus 165. Makes a little bit of sense to me. Jalen Hurts, minus 130. Scottaboo's a plus 155, but I would do the same thing that I like to do each and every week. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, plus 185, plus 240, Joe, to score a touchdown. If there's going to be one touchdown pass, one of those two guys is going to want that here. That's the way I play it out. Any touchdown look for you in this game between the Giants and the Eagles?
Well, I think you got to look at, right, Scatterbo, he's got to be, if somebody's going to get it inside the goal line, it's going to be him. Jackson Dart is another guy that seems to be crazy enough where he'll do anything in his power to do his own tush push, whether they're on it or not. He's going to try to get it in there. So the only other receiver for the Giants is Wan'Dale Robinson, right? I mean, he's the only other guy that might be able to get the big play for him. Other than that, I love Saquon maybe to score 2 or more touchdowns in this game here tonight as well.
Yeah, it should be fun to watch it play out here. I'm just interested to see the game plan for the Eagles. A lot of ways to go, a low total here, but that, again, is because of that Giants offense. Cam Scattaboo, 14.5 yards receiving makes sense to me, because if you're losing the football game and the Eagles have a decent pass rush, you're looking for that quick dump off. He can be that guy. So I do think there are low numbers you can approach, certainly if you want to take the New York Giants. We'll hit this game and more in hour number 2, but we got to get to some Major League Baseball talk, what happened yesterday and what it means for today's Major League Baseball games. We'll be back, the early line, right here on the SportsGrid Network.
Shedeur Sanders will be starting for the Browns by week 9. I am buying this. I am buying this absolutely. At a certain point, Joe Flacco just not the answer. We know they already made the change. Dylan Gabriel is starting this week. We know that. But maybe a team needs a quarterback, and they're willing to trade for Joe Flacco for some level of stability, and then we simply get nothing out of Dylan Gabriel. He is a rookie quarterback when it's all said and done. Maybe there's just no production from him. So why not just move on to a different rookie quarterback that you have, just to see what you have? And then, as George, as you mentioned up at the top, you have to evaluate going into next year's draft. So I will absolutely buy this.
The next 4 weeks, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Miami, New England. I mean, the question is this. If they truly believe that Gabriel could be a future starter, you got to give him more than 4 weeks, right? That's 4 weeks is not enough. Minnesota, that's a rough game, all right, being played, England this week. Pittsburgh, they haven't have a defense. Miami is not very good. New England's supposed to have a good defense, has it here. I want to sort of go. I mean, I think Shedeur Sanders is going to start at some point this week. I don't think it's going to be by week 10, although that does make sense here to name him the starter during the bye week, get him 2 weeks here. I'm going to go more, maybe double digits, week 12, week 14, somewhere around there. Because I want to give Gabriel a longer run. I think Gabriel might do some damage here against these lesser defenses here. So I think they give him a longer runway here. That being said, I do not think Gabriel is the long-term future of this team. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback at all here. I think he's a number 2 at best here. Sanders could be a number 1. I have doubts about him too. I think Sanders has a better shot. So by week 9, by week 10, I'll sell that. But if you're going to give me a couple more weeks, I would have bought it.
Fantasy Sports Today, Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, look at those Mariners here. Going to close out the series on their way to the AL Championship Series. Just what they do. They get a nice early lead, 3-0. They hold on with that bullpen, and oh, man, those Detroit bats just went silent at the wrong time. But did they, Joe? 3 in the bottom of the 5th, 4 in the bottom of the 6th, tacking on runs in the 7th and the 8th inning to win 9-3 to get us to a game number 5. Like the heart for the Tigers yesterday. Dead and buried, back from the dead, game number 5 on deck. How about that performance?
Yeah, I mean, finally, right? That offense finally woke up. And when you look at who did it, Donnie, right? You're talking about the number 9 hitter, Javier Baez, right? 2 for 4, had a home run, drove in 4 runs. That 7-run stretch there between the 6th and 7th innings, that was really all she wrote for Seattle at that point there. Now the big question, of course, is can they repeat that? Because if you're going to play higher scoring games, that doesn't favor Detroit. It certainly won't favor Detroit on the road. But they did exactly what they needed to do to stave off elimination. Unlike the Yankees, Detroit bats finally said, not in my house, it's not going to happen. It was good. But you also, once that game started to get away, you also kind of got the feeling that the Mariners were like, all right, well, we know where game 5 is going to be anyway.
Exactly. We know where game 5 is going to be, and we love to have home field advantage, and it should be fantastic, but you're going to get Tarek Skubal. Here's him talking about game 5.
I know we've talked a lot about this with Cleveland, but now with Seattle facing the same team in the same stadium just a few days afterwards, I imagine there aren't a whole lot of secrets, and I mean, the game plans on both sides are going to be well studied, I suppose, over the last week or so.
Yeah, I mean, this is what competition's all about. This is why you play the game, for game 5s. I mean, even in 7 games, right, you have an opportunity to throw 3. I threw 3 against Cleveland, my last 3 starts of the year, or, 2, and then first game of the wild card. But, yeah, it's competition, and I think that's going to bring out the best in everyone involved, and that's why this game is so beautiful. We're going to be able to go experience that on Friday.
Like, nobody wants to say, hey, we're excited for game 5, it's at home, but nobody's sitting there going like, oh, no goodness, we got to face Tarek Skubal. Like, if I go back to my childhood days, 5th and 6th grade, right, you're playing like Little League Baseball, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds. Like, we had a pitcher in the league, and I don't know if he's watching right now. His name was Neil Burnett. He threw gas. And I remember sitting there in like 5th grade at like 3 o'clock about to be let out of class going like, we got a game in 2 hours, man. Neil's going to be on the mound. Hopefully he gets sick like before the game. Like, you don't want to face Tarek Skubal here in this spot. Anybody but him, right?
Well, the crazy thing here, Donnie, is that of all the teams this season, the one team that has beat this guy 3 times is Seattle. They just beat him game 2, right? And they beat him twice during the regular season. So it's not like some guys are just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. Plus, he's got to go on the road, and you're going to get Seattle at home, who's got experience against school. You're going to get him at plus money. There is a lot to look at in this game to decide how to approach it. But the Mariners at home in an elimination game with plus money against Skubal, that's, if you're betting Detroit, you're hoping Skubal goes 9 innings, Donnie. I don't know what else to tell you. And that he shuts them down.
I don't want us to tell you this on Quinn Priester. Thanks for playing yesterday, buddy. 2/3 of an inning, pitch, 4 earned runs. You're behind the 8 ball right away. But by the way, shout out to Milwaukee's bullpen. Did the job, but they just couldn't get the offense going. Wind was blowing in yesterday at Wrigley. 7 runs on the board, staving off elimination for the Cubs, at least for one more day as they take down the Brewers 4-3.
Yeah, and it was so funny because when he went out and got Priester there, right, he told him, he's like, hey, listen, we're going to need you at some other point here in the postseason down the stretch. So don't worry about it. But, certainly the bullpen, like you said, and we knew a total strength of both these teams has been the bullpen. The bullpen for the Cubs did a great job, too, as well, because they only scored. They had that couple of that big inning early on, first or second inning. They had the 4 runs, and then that was it. They held on for dear life, Donnie. So both those teams have lockdown bullpens, which is going to be very interesting moving forward in the postseason here.
Migration down south. That's what New Yorkers are going to do here, particularly with the Yankees getting knocked out of the playoffs. All the boys will head down to that Tampa area here, start to get ready for spring training. All the transplants having fun. Why? Because the Yankees lost yesterday at home 5-2 to the Toronto Blue Jays. Look at that, man. It's going to be that sounds like an empty stadium right there with that whistle blowing in the background, which is going to be a cold, long winter for Yankee fans going like, Who are we going to get now? There's no Jeter to save us here. Volpe's been terrible.
Yeah, well, they got some decisions to make, the Yankees as well. But, firing Boone is likely not going to be one of them, considering they just gave him a 2-year extension here. But listen, at some point, the front office and everybody did everything they needed to do to address the needs. The problem is ultimately the players didn't get it done when it mattered the most here. And next season they'll have Cole back, hopefully, and they got to figure out a few other things in the back end of that bullpen. But hey, listen, Toronto deserved it. They beat the Yankees straight up, and they beat them with a bullpen game, which might be the most embarrassing part of all of it, Donnie, is that the Yankees couldn't get to that bullpen who had done nothing but blow leads all year long, and they could only muster 2 runs. I feel bad for the kid because Schlittler pitched his heart out there, but can't get any run support. That's what happens.
Yeah, Joe from White Plains on WFN today. Hey, man, Boone goes, what do you think about bringing back Girardi, man? He won a championship for us. Girardi's the guy for us. Oh, it's going to be fantastic sports talk radio in New York. I guarantee you today. 5-2 victory. Toronto moves on. The 6 is fighting for a World Series championship. Next round, the ALCS. Who are they going to face? Is it going to be Detroit? Is it going to be the Mariners at this point? We'll find out. But how about late night last night? Your boy didn't watch this. Look, I saw it. The Phillies were up 3-1. Shut it off. I'm not jinxing this game. Woke up. You know what? I rolled over in the middle of the night, Joe, like 2, 3, 4 a.m. Didn't want to check until my alarm actually went off. Then I checked, not by going to the final score, but by going to social media and the Phillies account just to see their tweet to say the boys got it 8-2. The bats broke out last night. Schwarber bombs left and right. Turner multiple hits. Mate, how about this? Your high-price lineup's hitting, Joe. Isn't that what's supposed to happen?
Well, Donnie, it was funny. We talked about this game yesterday. We said it'd be great if Philadelphia could get to Yamamoto early and keep the pressure on. And that's exactly what happened there. And kudos to Ranger Suarez, man. Great job coming in.
The Sanchez is on the mound tonight. No, I don't mean Mark Sanchez. That's Christopher Sanchez, people. Let's get it.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
I'm done with the Buffalo Bills, and I'm not upset about it because they look vulnerable. I cannot believe this team is 4-0 because they could easily be 1-3. They go on their heels, and I can't believe they have not 1 but 2 double-digit victories in games they could have very well lost.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Are we going to sit here today and acknowledge that the Indianapolis Colts right now are the best team in the AFC?
They are right now.
They can run the football with Taylor. They got a competent quarterback the way he's playing right now in Daniel Jones. They are well coached.
They never punt.
They never punt.
They never punt.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Question, where's the $100,000 going? Like, if I'm going to give it to Amari DiMercato as an apology? It does give us a little bit of insight, though, into that moment. Like, I wondered what Gannon had said to DiMercato there. It obviously did, cost Arizona a football game in a division that they cannot afford. But that is an interesting one.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
City of Brotherly Love is going to take center stage tonight. Why? Because the Philadelphia Phillies and the Dodgers will tee it up at 6:08, and then the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants right around 8:08 to 8:15 when that game is going to start. But however, like, you're not going to hear me complain, Joe, but I do have a complaint because I like to complain about things where I don't think they make all that much sense. Hear me out on this. Like, the Phillies and the Dodgers played last night at 9 o'clock. Understandable, right? 6 o'clock on the West Coast, 4 games in baseball. You want to give each one of these games their window. It's understandable that's the way it played out. And as a fan, I understand it, where I wasn't going to be able to stay up for the entire game, and I didn't, but the Phillies won. It's okay. So I look forward to myself and say, you know what? The Phillies played 6 o'clock tonight. That's perfect. I'll be able to watch that entire game and get to bed and root on the Philadelphia Phillies. But I have to question this. Why are the Phillies on at 6:08 and the Brewers and the Cubs are on at 9:08? Like, how did that even happen at that point, Joe? Like, why? Like, me, again, this is me complaining about I actually get to watch a baseball game, but I don't understand that usually it's closer to the East Coast or East Coast time, Central time. You get the earlier game. Why are the Cubs on at 9:08 tonight?
I believe, Donnie, because the Dodgers, if Phillies win this game, they're going to have to come on a plane. They're going to have to fly all the way back east. So the sooner that game is over, if there, in fact, is going to be a game 5, it gives them an opportunity to get out of Dodge because flying back east probably wouldn't land them if they played 9 o'clock, probably wouldn't get there till 2 o'clock in the morning. So I think they're just prepping ahead of time. If there is a game 5, that needs to be the first game in the book so everyone can hop on a plane and get out.
You know what's interesting about this, too, because we're going to get to the 2 games here in just a moment, but you always hear about this in playoff baseball, and I understand they have a day off. Like, let's just say the Phillies do win tonight. It's a Thursday. Then game number 5 at Citizens Bank Ballpark is not till Saturday night, so you get the day and a half. But you're right about this. If it's late night, you're flying, you don't get that much of a delay. Most teams in that big situation are going to send their starting pitcher back east already to get them acclimated with like a day or 2 to get ready. You know that starting pitcher in game number 5 is going to be Shohei Ohtani. He's not going to get on a plane early and leave this game. Yeah. Like, you know what? I'm the DH, the best player on this team, but you need me as a pitcher. That's an interesting one that pops up because no doubt in my mind, if it was Yamamoto, he wouldn't even be in the ballpark for that game Thursday and already be back in Philadelphia trying to get acclimated. Just something to keep an eye on at this point. But 2 games tonight, starting at 6:08, Philadelphia and Los Angeles, a slight favorite towards the Dodgers, Joe. -124s to -130s, depending on where you're shopping at, and a total of 7.5. It's going to be Sanchez for the Philadelphia Phillies and Glass now, from what I'm seeing here, for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I do think the Phillies have the pitching advantage in this game. I like the momentum the Phillies had yesterday, but sometimes it doesn't always translate. So for you, Joe, Sanchez is a great pitcher. Bullpen is rested for the Phillies. The lineup finally turned over last night. I like the signs for the Phillies. I was devastated last night coming into that game, thinking the Phillies were just going to play a game and head home and get pounded by the Dodgers. I'm way more optimistic about the Phillies' chances, not only just from a fan perspective, but a handicapping perspective as well.
I think a lot of this is going to ride on what do you get out of Sanchez, who the Dodgers have had some success against this year. So are you going to have to go to the bullpen? After 2 or 3 innings, are we going to have to try to cobble some things together here? I think a lot of this is going to depend on how long can you get Sanchez go? How can you set up that bullpen? It's all hands on deck one way or the other. But I think the best scenario for Philadelphia is, can he go 5, Donnie? Can you get 5 or 6 innings out of him and have a lead and give them an opportunity to get the back end of the bullpen in the game? The problem is Glass now has been pretty darn good here this year, especially at home. And the Dodgers did get Will Smith back, which is good for them here. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be pressure-packed. I don't know how many runs we're getting here tonight. I don't think we're going to get as many as we got last night, Donnie.
I'll tell you what's interesting. The Dodgers had a 2-game lead last night. It does kind of make me chuckle. It's like, hey, Clayton Kershaw, come on for the home fan base. It'll be a lot of fun. Exactly. He got absolutely pounded in the 7th and 8th inning. He should have got more runs scored him in the 7th, but the 8th inning, it caught up to him. We'll see if that changes tonight. No pitchers assigned just yet, Joe, for Milwaukee and Chicago. Slight favorite towards Milwaukee, and a total of 7 in the friendly confines. We got to wait a little bit longer to find out who exactly those starting pitchers are going to be today.
Yeah, well, that's the question, right? I mean, who are they going to go with? We've already
handicap it, Joe. Come on.
We already seen Milwaukee win in a bullpen game, right? So now they've got to decide which direction are they going to go here? Are they going to bring Peralta back on short rest? Do they want to get it done ASAP? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see which each team goes with. I mean, listen, Boyd only lasted an inning and a half, right? So if you're Chicago, you can always go back to him.
Yeah, keep an eye on these situations too, Joe, because the bullpen day turns into, you can pitch an inning or two. That's where they start to turn that over in the playoffs to try to use it. Always tough to handicap, but it's funny, right? Like, hey, Joe, handicap the game, minus 120. Who's pitching? I don't know. What's the lineup? I don't know.
Idea.
Good luck with that one. We'll find out a little bit later in the day. Hour number 2 is coming up. Headlines, hotlines, you got it, baby. Come on back with us.